Yo guys, what's up? We are back with another video, and in today's video we are going to be covering Yareli. I find Yareli to be a really underutilized frame. Even after her prime, I'm still not seeing enough of her. Uh, we're going to talk about her passives, we're going to talk about her augments, and I'm going to be showcasing two builds, so this is kind of a longer video. But before we get moving forward, I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the overwhelming support, guys. I mean, we're at 100 subscribers. I, I I was maybe expecting to get 50 views in my first week of videos. Because I just kind of wanted to showcase some of my fun builds and things that I like to use. And I just wasn't expecting this much support from the community. I just want to say thank you guys so much. The Warframe community never ceases to amaze me. You guys are truly incredible. Um, so yeah, with that, once again, thank you guys. Let's get on with the video. So I'm going to be showcasing two builds. I'm going to start off talking about the Archon Shards. I'm going to try to follow the same format through my videos. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about her kit and abilities. And then we are going to move on to the first build, which I'm going to showcase in the simulacrum. And the second build, which I will showcase in the sim. And then I will also showcase in gameplay. Because I find that that one is the most interesting. Maybe less pure for the real Yareli gamers out here. But hopefully both are interesting. Okay, starting off here, we have 4 orange shards, 4 crit chance on secondary weapons. And that is literally fantastic because her second ability, Marolina, which is your greatest form of survivability in this build in several ways. You have the option of health tanking with this. You have the option of invulnerability gating with this. You have the option of shield tanking with this. I mean, it's literally incredible. Marolina is such a good ability that is very overhated, just because people do not like the movements. Yes, there are certain tile sets where it's hard to move through, but there are a lot of Yareli players that have like movement tutorials on YouTube. Um, and just watching their gameplay can sometimes help you understand maybe how to traverse tile sets better. Overhated, really strong ability. But the main thing is this ability does force you to use your secondary. And then you combine this with what Yareli's passive is. Yareli gains 200% crit chance with secondary weapons when she has been moving for at least 1.5 seconds. This does not mean moving on Marolina. This just means moving in general. So let's showcase this real quick. If I walk around in circles like this, you can see up top right now we have critical flow, 200% crit chance. This is modded crit chance. This is not flat crit chance, but that is still super duper strong if you're using on a weapon with high crit chance. I'm going to be showcasing weapons in this video that are a lot stronger than weapons that I've showcased in the past ones. I will try not to spam Incarnons in my videos, but on Yareli, I found that these are the ones I have the most success with, and I also think that she is just such a strong frame. She deserves to use. Absolutely. No questioning that for me, personally. And that's why I invested so many shards. So let's also talk about the final shard. We have casting speed. So with Yareli, you're going to be spamming her one a lot, especially in higher level content. Uh, this damage vulnerability is literally unbelievable. Um, and I could be wrong. I would like to be corrected in the comments, but I think I've seen some stuff about people talking about it being multiplicative. Um, it kind of just doesn't matter because everybody dies if you use this on them. uh, kind of doesn't matter the level. You use this and then you use a strong weapon, and everything will literally evaporate. It is so unbelievable. Um, yeah. Now let's move on to kind of the main part of this build here. For this primary build, or the first build, this is going to be more of a pure Yareli build using her base Marolina. The second build is going to be using Loyal Marolina, which stops you from riding Marolina, but it allows Marolina to follow you. If you do not want to use that augment, you do not have to. There are tons of ways of approaching the second build. I just want to show a synergy with a helmet ability, a gun, and her fourth ability. Okay, let's move on to the first build, the purest build, I would say. This is going to be nothing that you guys haven't seen before. I'm just going to be honest, this is really not that unique. I just want to show it off just for the Yareli players out there that probably want to see something a little bit more normal. And I want to talk about some interesting mod interactions and how good her augments are. Uh, Specifically the one that allows you to continue riding Marolina. So here we have Marolina Guardian. Marolina augment. Enemies eliminated during sea snares heal 20% of Marolina's health. Upon healing, gain 200% reload speed and fire rate for secondary weapons for 20 seconds, which can be improved by duration. Currently, we have 31 seconds on that, meaning if I use sea snares and kill one of those enemies every 31 seconds, I have 200% fire rate and 200% reload speed. That reload speed stat is super duper important. Reload speed allows you to easily switch in and out of Incarnon mode weapons, which can make it feel a lot more seamless. Um, that is what I have found the best usage out of this augment with. I know Incarnon weapons are not for everybody, but I'm going to try to showcase some more fun Incarnons. Second build, let's be honest, it's not really a fun weapon. Everybody knows it's really strong, but the build's fun. Um, But let's talk about the rest of the build here. This is more of a comfortable shield tanking build that is going to take you very far, especially because we combine what our helmet is. We have Gloom on this build. Gloom is a boring ability. Gloom is a very popular helmet honor. This is not new innovative stuff. Um, this is going to allow you to heal your Marolina, but more importantly, on Yareli, I find the slowing to be more helpful because the movement is a little bit more clunky. Sometimes taking out targets in a quick fashion can be a little bit more difficult, which may expose you to more damage. So using Gloom to slow these enemies and also heal your Marolina, which gives you 90% damage reduction, also it receives 90% damage reduction. I just found this to be best. That way I'm not having to spam my one to heal Marolina as much as possible. I'm just using this on high priority targets and whenever I need to upkeep my buff at lower levels. And that's where I found this build to be the strongest. We have adaptation for that 90% damage reduction with another 90%. And then we have shield tanking because this comes with base 50% damage reduction. You guys do that math for how much damage reduction that is. You guys can tell that that is an absurd amount. I mean, you can see right here, a Yareli lover. I went ahead and put on the Umbral Forma. Not necessary. If you guys look here, I do not have Prime Continuity Forma. So yeah, like, you do not need the Umbral format. I just did it personally for flexibility in my slots, and it was the first format I threw on her because I was so happy she was out. To deal with energy economy of Gloom, we have some duration. We are running negative efficiency, but we're combating that with flow and equilibrium. I found this to be enough. If this is not enough for you guys, I would suggest maybe tweaking the build for blind rage and try to get used to using maybe transient fortitude. The amazing part about Yareli is when you're in your 2, you're knockdown immune. So this first build, is not going to require uh, primed, sure-footed, or any type of knockdown resistance or being smart about rolling. So this is definitely a more friendly build. If you guys do not have the prime mods, that's okay. You cannot use the prime mods. Umbral Intensify comes pretty early on in the story. I would try to fit this onto the build for sure. You can also, if Endo is a problem, use an unleveled version of adaptation. At its max, it will still do the exact same amount of damage reduction. Or sorry, unleveled. Yeah, unleveled will still do the exact same amount of damage reduction. It just will build up those resistances slower, which kind of doesn't matter because your EHP is already incredible anyways. For when we get to higher level, we also have Aegis just to be a little bit more comfortable for a little bit longer. When you actually start taking damage, we do have Aegis to help with the shield recharge speed. Redirection to increase our EHP here because we're shield tanking. And yeah, that is kind of it for the first build. We'll talk about the arcane. Sorry, we have combat discipline mixed with Avenger. Showcase this in the last video. This healing is nice to give to your squad, and it's also just a constant upkeep of 45% crit chance. Really great. We are using Boreal's Anguish. This reduces the damage taken to Marolina. All the mods that say reduce damage while airborne affect Marolina. So if you want to build crazy damage reduction, you could even use aerodynamics here and use a different option for your arcane, and you can have really great success with even more damage reduction if that sounds good to you guys. We also have prime continuity here for comfort, so that's nice with the duration and energy economy with Bloom. I think I already covered that like 3 times anyways, but that's the first build. Going to showcase this in the sim. The second build will be showcased with gameplay, but I just want to show this real quick just for people that don't know too much about Yareli. Um, oh god, guys, I'm not even showcasing the weapon, which is like the most important thing about Yareli. So, for me personally, I like using the Prisma Angstrom on Yareli with her base build with the increased reload speed because this is a really easy to charge in Karnon. Just like the Torrid, you can aim for body shots and that will build in Karnon meter. So it's just really low, like hold click and evolve, like just really low skill and don't really have to think about it too much, just kind of melt everything. Here are my evolutions. Notably, this weapon does have multiplicative Guncio. I'm going to be taking off the ribbon for this build right now. We're going to go ahead and put on electricity here. We have galvanized shot mixed with hornet strike for multiplicative Guncio. That means that this 40% damage gained per status effect is multiplying with this 200% damage from hornet strike. It's incredibly strong. That means per status you're going to be doing just absolutely stupid amounts of damage. Definitely imperative that you have these two on the build. The rest is going to be kind of up to you, but I went for a multi-shot corrosive heat build. The reason that I have heat and I'm using Cascadia Flare is to upkeep my Tauforge Topaz Shards with the heat procs. And I found that that works really well for me because this weapon has very high status chance. Once again, here's my evolutions. There you go. Increasing my boost crit chance and crit damage. It's nice. Status I've not had a problem with. And there you go for the Incarnon stats. Let's show this thing off real quick. Against some unpaused enemies, guys. You can believe it. If you can believe it. Oh, good news. Oh, I've already got a group here. There you go. So if I press my second ability, I press my 3. We're going to see that I'm not really going to be dying already. Look at Aegis. Look at Aegis go. No gloom here. Guys, I mean... give you an idea on the fire rate you can be working with here. Literally incredible. Look at that reload rate. Swap into Incarnon takes less than a second. Angstrom's super fun because this weapon does have bouncing projectiles. You guys are already seeing what this crit chance is like. It is so incredible. And that is without Hotshot fully stacked up. So let's spawn in another group here. And this group we can do with Gloom. So I can show this with full effect. When you pop your Gloom, you're going to have to do it before you get on your little skateboard. Because you cannot activate it once it's on. That's why having a channeled ability is super strong on your Yareli. Because you are not able to activate abilities once on your skateboard. As you can see here, no ribbon. We have full red crits with some exclamation points mixed in. This build is not using Hotshot. I'm sure that's an option with a different build, but that is not what I'm doing personally. As you can see, this fire rate is literally incredible. The way that the projectiles bounce and the way that they light stuff up is just super fun. The Angstrom is a really fun Incarnon option, and not one that's really overly overpowered until you use it on Yareli. As you guys can see, the survivability against Exo Gokstad units, they do not stand a chance, even with their other 20 turrets spawned in. And it's just overall really, really incredible. That is base Yareli. But let's move on to the star of the show, and the main reason why I want to make this video, and that is going to be my Zada's Whisper Yareli build. A couple of things immediately jump out. We have replaced the 3 this time. The reason why we're using the 3 on the last build, I should disclose this, is for another layer of CC. This does no damage. I just find that using the 4 on Yareli is a little mind-numbing. And the 4 also doesn't work well with the Angstrom. It just like breaks sometimes. And I wanted to specifically use the Angstrom. So having Gloom combined with Aqua Blades, means if an enemy even gets close to meleeing you, they're just in an infinite stun loop. They just can't do anything. So Aqua Blades is kind of nice on this build. once again, up to you. If you guys would like to use the fourth ability, you can just use aqua, like replace aqua blades with gloom, and that's an option. But here on the X build and the main star of the show, I am using Zada's Whisper. Zada's Whisper interacting with Riptide can do some pretty crazy stuff because you have a lot of enemies grouped up all together, combined with Zada's Whisper procs. And if you guys have ever used grouping with Zada's Whisper or have ever seen builds with grouping in Zada's Whisper, you guys probably know it does some pretty crazy stuff. On this build, it is extremely comfortable because we have 175 efficiency. This is not a common thing that you see, and you're probably like, why do we have 175% efficiency? And we're going to talk about that. So right here, we have the loyal Marilena augment. Yareli no longer rides Marilena. I know that's sad. That's taking away so much identity from Marilena, but hold on. Wait till you see the build. um, or wait till you see the gameplay. Instead, Marilena follows her and casts sea snares on nearby enemies every 2 seconds. That scales with efficiency. On this build right here, we have exactly 175 efficiency, which is the max efficiency in Warframe. Meaning that Marilena will actually cast sea snares every 0.5 seconds. Also, 175 efficiency means we do not have to mod for energy in any other way. Our 4 is costing 25 energy. Zada's Whisper is costing 6 energy. Marilena is costing 6, and sea snares is costing 6. Base energy is plenty for this. You do not need flow. You could cast your 1 1,000 times and not run out of energy. Not literally, of course. But, I mean, what? That's literally 50 casts of your 3, almost. I mean, your 1, almost. So, as you can tell, really nice. And no drain ability, so it's really not a problem. We are building shield tanking again. And then right here, we also have additional shield capacity coming from our last little bit of ability efficiency. Duration is not too important on this build as long as we're above neutral. So I have Prime Continuity mixed with Fleeting Expertise and Augur Message. Augur Message is also really nice because that's going to give us shield on ability cast. Our duration of our 3 base does not require too much more duration, and that's really the only thing that needs it above base duration. Because as you can see, sea snares here last quite a long time, 15 seconds almost, and Riptide lasts 12 seconds. And as you guys will see, 12 seconds is more than enough for what we're doing with this build. We have Aegis again, and then we also have Avenger again. I'm running unleveled combat discipline this time because I do not have Gloom to heal myself. Just so you guys know, that is not necessary. You guys can at least run like a level 2 or a level 3 with still having perfectly comfortable survivability. And then you could also run a synth mod on your companion to drop more health orbs. This one right here. Sorry, this one right here. Am I lying, guys? Hit that follow button. No, it was this one. Yeah. Enemies injured by companions have a 25% chance to drop health orb when killed. So that's really nice to use. So you could totally run a higher level one with a synth mod. And that would work fine. But yeah, let me show this build in action. Let me show the weapon that this is specifically made for. So on this build, I am using the Furus. The Furus is a really unique weapon. It's Incarnate, that is. I could not find a weapon that synergizes any better, unfortunately. And I know that is kind of lame because it is an Incarnon, but I cannot find another secondary for the life of me that can do this exact same thing. And what that exact same thing is a wide beam that has infinite body punch through. And then the plus is this also has high status. So on this build right here, we are going to take off this status chance mod, and we are going to throw on what was on the Riven. We have multi-shot and status chance here, so this can kind of just be whatever. If you want to run a Bane here, if you guys want to run, as you see, we already have status damage. I mean, honestly, I would maybe just run primed. No, not necessary because we're building blast with the alternate fire mode. I would run What I run? This thing is so strong, I don't even know what I put on it. We are using a Nervate, so we don't need to build crit chance. I guess a decent idea would be running Merciless Gunfight for, don't need Punch Through, though. Just say for the more crit damage, and we don't really want to change the weighting. I'm sorry, guys. Uh, Status Duration isn't a terrible idea. Wow, it's just that flexible. We're just going to show it even without a mod. We're just going to show it with what we have here, and you can see how strong it is. So the evolutions that I went for and the reasons why I went for them. Let's talk about that. So here on our second evolution, we have with overshields increased base damage. We are going to our overshields pretty often because we do have auger mods on this build. And those auger mods are coming from my worm companion right here. We have an auger stat stick. If you guys can do this with worm, all the better. Worm can use negate, which will literally cleanse you of status effects every 5 seconds. This is so incredibly strong. So incredibly strong at high levels. It's the greatest thing ever. And then also shield charger. Shield charger is really nice. There's that. Be cool. And guardian. Guardian, every robotic. Always gotta have it. Your number one precept slot. Amazing. Instantly recharging your shield. So that's my companion setup for this. So we are getting overshields. We have base magazine capacity. You do have other options here. You can run the instant reload on headshot. You can run increased accuracy if you really want to, if you're using the base mode from far away, which it does still kill. But I'm running base magazine capacity just so I don't have to reload as much, and I can fill a full Incarnon with 2 magazines basically, or fill 2 full Incarnons with 1 magazine. And then for the final evolution, I am running plus 28% status chance. This allows an incredible 52% status chance base on the alt fire, or on the Incarnon mode. As you can see here with this build specifically, I have 124% status chance, which is literally incredible. With this crit chance, I am not building critical chance. I am actually just outsourcing it to the arcane. Innervate on a weapon that is hitting a lot is incredibly nice. Super good on beam weapons specifically, and that is basically what this thing is in its alternate fire mode. And you will see that in gameplay, we are getting crits often. We have critical damage here. We have galvanized shot for more status chance. Diffusion for multi-shot for more statuses. And we only have to mod on cold for blast, which we're going to get to why we're modding blast. But the reason why we're modding cold is because the Incarno mode already has heat. We also have status damage, which works well with blast. And it also gives increased reload speed, which is super nice for switching in and out of Incarnon mode. Using lethal momentum as well, just so the beam travels a little bit further. As you can see, it does increase the range of it. So yeah, let's talk about the Fierce Incarnon. Hornet Strike as well for base damage. Fierce Incarnon is, everybody knows, super strong. Look how easy it is to charge up that Incarnon. Super nice. But if you combine Zada's Whisper with Blast, you get some really interesting things going on. Go ahead and show real quick. You are basically, from what I understand and what I've read, getting... Banes will dip twice with this. It might be 3 times. But it's also, let's look up Zada's Whisper and Blast, because I really don't want to misinform here. And Blast. Let's see. Greg. Oh, are we really not going to have anything on the wiki about this interaction? Oh, dang. That is a little bit of a bummer. Okay. I will post down in the comments exactly what this interaction is doing, so just read the top comment. I will have it pinned. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I don't want to misinform. I will just show the results instead. So if I spawn in a group of Exo-Goxset officers, go ahead and unpause the AI here. Press my 2. Here's my little Marilena buddy. Reason why this is nice is it means so I don't have to be in my 2, and casting my 4 feels pretty awkward in my 2. Here you go. Got a group right here. And that group is dead. grouping enemies together with blast procs is incredibly strong. That is not a new thing at all. We can show this against a Orc battle group as well without the turrets, because the turrets act kind of weird while doing this. All dead. You can hold the trigger for like 1 ammo and literally everything will die every single time. This build is literally insane. Got a couple stubborn ones there. As you guys can see, the crits do come through. It's pretty nice with the Nervate. This is what I found works best. A Nervate's just a really fun thing to slot. What I found. As you guys can see, survivability is still really good. Not really having too many issues here still to this day. You can use your 1, or even with this build, not to this day, sorry. Use your 1 often still to CC and to give damage vulnerability. We'll spawn one more group and we'll demonstrate this one more time. Once again, Zada's Whisper's up. Pop my 4. When I shoot my Furus, we are hitting all of these enemies. So it's spreading so many blast procs so quick to so many enemies. So it's causing all of them to detonate because blast procs have an AoE to them. And you combine that with Zada's Whisper, which I will put the explanation with DOTs and Zada's Whisper in the comments. I really don't want to misinform with that. So I'm just going to hold off on saying it. But let me show this with some gameplay. I don't know really kind of what made me think of this build. I just, like the other week, the Furus Incarnon came out, or it was about to come out, and I was like, ooh, that'd be really fun on Yareli with the 4. And then I also thought about Blast with it, and then Zada's Whisper with it. It just was like kind of a weird cascade. But like there was a week until I was able to get the Furus. So like I named the second build on this Yareli Blast Furus before I even had it, just because like I knew it was going to be awesome, and oh my gosh, it exceeded expectations. So go ahead and pop Marilena. Marilena can start helping us out by spreading some snares. Building Incarnon can be sometimes a little finicky. As you can see, you don't even need to really use the 4 because that's just how strong the Furus is. I mean, that's nothing new though. What is really cool though is grouping with it. There you go, we get a really large group. And they're all dead. Literally insane. If you guys have any other weapon suggestions for what could synergize well with this, specifically with Blast, high status, able to affect multiple enemies at once, please do let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But yeah, and look, sometimes it does some pretty weird stuff. I don't know if that's Zada's Whisper acting weird. All I know is with results, this works really well and at really high levels, especially with the Bane. I mean, the Furus in general just works really high at really high level content. Same with Blast and Zada's Whisper. We just have like a triple whammy here. Like I'm not even using my 2, I feel like, enough, or my 1. It is just literally insane how good our survivability is. I just don't even really have to think. As you guys can see, I'm taking like no damage. Negate is going ahead and removing procs whenever I occasionally get them. It's going off all the time. Base Steel Path survivability is going to be a non-issue entirely. With this augment, it does allow you to use other weapons. If I'm correct. Yeah, you can. So this allows you to use a primary weapon. So there are other options. I just wanted to still use a secondary because it is Yareli, and I feel like if you drop the whole passive, what are we doing? Like I'd like to take advantage of the passive as well at the same time. Definitely other weapons you can use with this build. But with the Zada's Whisper, I felt like this was the best weapon I could possibly use. I went through like the whole wiki and all the weapons that I have personally, testing them to see if there was something that came close to what this thing can do with Zada's Whisper and with the 4th ability. And unfortunately, I just wasn't able to find something with this strong of an interaction. So yeah, this is what I ended up with. I know it's a little cringe to have the double Incarnons, and I understand if that kind of warrants a dislike or maybe holding off to the next build. But this is just a really strong build. With the orange shards, we've got a lot of crit chance. Not on this one specifically because we don't even have heat modded onto this. this is just blast right now. But for that first build, using the orange shards with the angstrom, or any secondary of choice, by the way, I just want to clarify, that first build works so well for any secondary. Don't really need to worry about using the angstrom specifically. I just posted a secondary video. Any of those would also work as really strong options. I'm particularly interested on how a weapon like the Spear X would perform with its AoE and that increase in reload speed, because it has a really low magazine capacity and not the fastest reload. I'm sure it'd be very nice. And yeah, I mean, Yareli is a really incredibly easy frame. Just fun to play. You can see with this build, really strong. What I would use for Archon shards on this build, I'm honestly not sure. Maybe you could mess around with one of the orange shards that does stuff with blast procs, like regenerating heals on blast procs, or sorry, regenerating shield. That could be pretty crazy, especially with this Furus. Definitely worth giving that a try, but I just kind of wanted to show this interaction with the fourth ability, Zada's Whisper, and the I mean, look at that. That was literally like 1 damage tick, and they all died. Really insane stuff. But yeah, one thing you are going to notice when we get to it is Furus is not really good at killing the Acolytes. It's definitely not its strong suit. I'll say it that way. But we're gonna use our 1 to give it damage vulnerability, and got Zada's Whisper 2 to boost our damage a little bit. It's mainly here to give us the void status, which is the magnifier. I mean, like, it's so strong. The Furus is crazy. I mean, this is just to show that Yareli is super strong with pretty much any weapon. I'll show her off with the Sepulchrum again in the sim, just to kind of show that she is buffing those weapons a lot. She will buff any weapon. Buffing a weapon that's already strong feels a little unnecessary, but guys, disregard everything I've ever said about this thing killing the Acolytes, so this is the strongest weapon in the game. Okay. Yeah, that is, that's literally insane. Okay. Yareli is a lot better than I thought, even myself, and I feel like I've ran this build now for like 7 Void Cascades. I think the Acolyte gains more health, though, if you have more players, so that's probably why it felt a little more insane killing it myself right there. Because beam weapons are pretty crummy against Acolytes. I usually have a better time killing it with my base fire mode. But yeah, that's Yareli. Got 2 really interesting builds here, 2 ways of building her. Definitely other helmet options in Gloom. I mean, guys, you could even go even further into the defensive reduction or damage reduction and run Null Star like we ran on Styanax yesterday. And you could even run the heat augment with that, run Hot Shot, and combine that with the orange shards, and you really got something crazy there. Really just using her as a secondary gun buff frame is just really awesome. She's like a really fun weapons platform, but then she's also doing a lot of stuff herself. Yeah, this is Yareli. Really strong stuff. Once again, I'm going to show real quick in the sim how she does with lower tier weapons, or maybe kind of slept on weapons, with the base build. And even with this build, we'll show it with both. We'll show that she's buffing like crazy regardless. We'll show, oh my gosh, guys, the reload speed and the fire rate on the Sepulchrum. Those got to be like my only 2 complaints for the Sepulchrum. Guys, this is just another Sepulchrum propaganda video. Guys, Sepulchrum Prime when? Come on, am I right? Like, holy moly. We got to get it going. Back to, like, guys, I've just got to say thank you so much for the support. I'm, like, literally mind blown. I went to bed and then, like, woke up and I'm like, yo, this isn't real. Like, this support is absolutely unbelievable. Let's show it with the Sepulchrum. Sepulchrum build is this. Really, really basic here. We're going viral and it comes with heat innately. This does have multiplicative gun CO, so Galvanized Shot and Hornet Strike. Cascadia Flare for a little bit more damage. Good stuff. Okay. Holy crap, I'm actually so excited to try this. Do with the base build. Like I said, many helmet options here. Bloom does not have to be what you settle on. So many options. Please try many different things. Like, this is just kind of showcasing some fun weapons and just like kind of putting some spotlight on Yareli, and also once again talking about the passive on a Warframe and really two good augments. There are absolutely stronger helmets you can use. These are just what I went for. This build is very unique, and I feel like Zada's Whisper combined with the 4 just definitely is as strong as you can get if you're building for the 4th. But if you are just looking to run around on Marolina, I find that replacing the 4th with an augment usually is with a, hold on guys, I'm having like a stroke here, with a helmet feels the best to me personally, because using the 4th while on Marolina sometimes gives me like a stroke. It's rough, just like kind of what I had right there speaking. Something to note when we're talking about using other abilities on Yareli. You cannot use helmet abilities when you are riding Marolina. So it's gonna have to be something where like you're getting on Marolina, popping the ability, getting off, getting on. And if that doesn't really sound good to you, Gloom is probably going to be your best option. Especially for casual play too, just because I think this is just so fine for any content you would ever do with her, ever. Um, okay, let's try out the Sepulchrum. This is surely going to be pretty interesting. All right, let's get the buff up here. Thank you, guys. Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah. This is amazing. Oh, look at that! Look at the reload, guys. We found it. The ultimate Sepulchrum weapon platform. You might even need minus recoil on this build. This is so fun. Oh my gosh. Holy moly, guys. There you go. What it's like using a non-incarnon weapon. We'll show one more non-incarnon weapon here. Pop the 2. Pop your 1. And just insanity. Great crits here. Even comparing to the Styanax video here. I mean, we're not getting exclamation point red crits, but got orange and reds here on a weapon with, I think, 86% crit chance. So that's really impressive. So yeah, guys, pretty crazy stuff. We'll show the Spear X real quick, because that's another weapon that I love. Bit real quick. And the godforsaken Ocucore, I guess you could use it on her, bro. I mean, it's that weapon is point and click adventure. Oh, we don't have modded fire rate. I have the thing that's locking our fire rate number. Oh, let's go turn that off real quick. Sorry, guys. We'll fix this real quick. We will use Hornet Strike here instead. And we'll call it wraps on this video after we see this real quick. Oh, yeah. Oh, my... Oh my gosh, this is absurd. Oh yeah, you can like mag dump people, dude. Yeah, you might need to worry about your ammo efficiency at this point. Might need to run primed ammo mutation. That's super fun though. Yeah, guys, as you can see here, bunch of really fun builds, a lot of really fun ways to play Yareli. Both augments are incredibly good, incredibly fun. If you do not enjoy the K drive, you have another option, and it's super strong, especially with that 175 efficiency. And then if you enjoy the K drive, you're just going to be having a better time on her. I'm going to be honest, but I think if you do not, probably going for the Zada's Whisper 4 build is probably going to be the most satisfying route, because you're really taking advantage of her 4th ability to the fullest. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will try to fully explain the Zada's Whisper interaction and what that is doing with DOTs in the comment section. I really don't want to misinform. I should have kind of came in with a script for that. I'm sorry. I will attempt to improve upon my content creating skills, but I kind of still just want to do this for fun. So it's not going to get to the point where it's perfect. Probably going to stay unedited and just going to continue to just be fun, like little spotlights and what I kind of enjoy using. Just to give you guys a heads up on what I have planned for the future. I am thinking about a fun melee build video, a Nyx video, a Grendel video, a Vauban video, a Corvex video, an Atlas video, and once we get around to the Yareli, the Harrow and Wisp proto frames, probably making a little update video on them with something a little bit more fun and different than what is mainstream. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a blessed evening, day, afternoon, morning, whenever you guys see this. Thank you, Tenno, for being so supportive of my videos. You guys are amazing. Wouldn't trade the Warframe community for the world. You guys are awesome. So yeah, thank you for the overwhelming support, and you guys have a fantastic whatever.